What's going on, y'all? Thanks for checking in the Khaliis Take. You know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell just so you can get the newest and the bonus content first. But hey, let's just go ahead and jump right in. Looks like Paul George is nearing a return. And at this point, it looks very, very possible he might actually play Tuesday versus the Utah Jazz. And it's probable. I think he's listed as questionable against the Utah Jazz. So that's definitely good signs, big signs, good things for the for Clippers Nation, getting Paul George back. He's just one big piece of the puzzle. Now all they need to do is find a way to get Kawhi Leonard back, and then the puzzle will be complete. Then they'll be ready to try to really make a move in the playoffs and everything like that. And I thought it was really good, the fact that, he's very, very close to coming back. And I know he's basically back now. You might as well say that because, if he's able to play against the Utah Jazz, or he's listed as questionable against the Utah Jazz, it's only maybe one or two more games he might actually sit out before he comes back out there and, gives it a go, because his elbow and everything feels good. And, he's ready to give it a try. It's a good sign mainly because, like I said, the role players, they're starting to wear down. If you look at the last several losses from the Clippers, the role players are just running out of gas, you know what I'm saying? And it's being evident. It's evident that they're running out of gas because, like I said, the more and more you play, the more and more the game wears on you, especially when you don't have your superstar players, because you're playing other teams with their superstar players and you're trying to make up for what your superstar player does on offense and defense, or whatever your superstar player does. And it's hard to do because it's, role players are supposed to be role players. They can't fulfill that role of a superstar. That's the reason why they're not a superstar. So the fact they're getting Paul George back, possibly, like I said, against the Utah Jazz on, Tuesday, here, that's big news for them. Really big news. Because now it probably ensures them, even if he doesn't come back against the Utah Jazz, he'll probably come back the game after or the game after that. So it mainly ensures them that they'll have some help going into the play-in tournament. You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what they're going to need, because if they plan on getting out of the play-in tournament, it's going to be it's going to be tough, because the Timberwolves are going to be a challenge. Even though I think the Clippers can beat them, especially with Paul George. And don't sleep on don't sleep on the Pelicans or or whoever. I think maybe the Spurs or who might get in there. I think the Lakers are not going to get in. I think the Lakers are done. I don't think they're going to get into the play-in tournament. I think they're just pretty much done. But don't sleep on those two teams either. Those two teams are tough. And like I said before, when you're playing a one-game elimination like that, anything can happen. So, you could lose to anybody. Even if you got all your star players on the floor, a one-game elimination, winner take all, anything can go in that situation. Anything can happen. So, it's definitely a good sign the Clippers have got Paul George coming back, because I kind of worried about them going into the play-in tournament without neither one of their superstars, because just hypothetically, what if they had to play the Lakers again in a winner-take-all situation? Hey, I'm not saying the Lakers would beat them, because I think they're a better team than the Lakers. They proved that this year, but it's hard to beat a team 5 times in one season. It just is. It's hard to beat a team 4 times in one season. So 5 is like, out of the norm, you know what I'm saying? So, that play-in tournament, it's a good opportunity to give you an extra opportunity to make the playoffs, because you are a lower seed, in your standings. But it's a very dangerous opportunity too, because you might run up against a team in the play-in tournament, and it might be a team that you've seen earlier this season and they want payback, or it could be a team you might play that just might have your number that night, just because, winner take all, one game elimination. You see what I'm saying? So, a lot goes into that. So, it's definitely good to have all your pieces back, or at least, one of your superstars back going into a play-in tournament, because you never know, you might not make it out of that. So, the main thing right now is, get PG back in the rhythm where he can, score his 25, plus points a game, and, get him going, get Norman Powell back, and see what you can do with that roster. Go as far as you can. Hopefully Kawhi Leonard comes back in the midst of that, so you can make the ultimate run for the championship. But man, it's been a while since we've seen PG. Definitely glad to see him back. I definitely be glad when everybody comes back as whole. This team as a whole, because this team is scary when they're all put together. They really are. And I think a lot of teams now, even with Paul George coming back, that makes a few teams step back a little bit because they have to sit back and analyze the situation and be like, okay, now they got Paul George and they already were a tough team without neither one of their superstars. Now they got one coming back, and I think Norman Powell's coming back maybe. Hopefully, a few games from now, hopefully he can make a return too, or maybe even in the playing tournament, he can make a return, for the Clippers. So, I mean, this, like I said, it's good news for the Clippers and everything like that. Because, like I said, that playing tournament is going to be tougher than what people think. So, I mean, definitely having one of their star players is definitely the way to go. And I think that's what the Clippers were aiming for the whole time, to at least try to see if they can get one of them back before the play-in, and if they had to wait for maybe the other one to come back after the play-in tournament, if they get past that would be good as well. So like I said, shout out to the Clippers, man. That's a big feat there. Definitely gotta definitely got to give shout out to, PG for, pushing himself, playing, putting himself through, extensive workouts, trying to get his elbow right and avoiding that surgery. Because like I said, if he would have got that surgery, there would have been no doubt he had to be out the rest of the year. That Tommy John surgery is nothing to play with. And like I said, most of the players I've seen were in baseball and they never really came back the same after that surgery. It's just something about that rare injury right there. It just doesn't, you never really come back close to what you were. I mean, other injuries, you hear about, those are not good either, especially major injuries, things like that. But you have heard players coming back from ACLs and, all those other type of injuries, ankle injuries, things like that. But that UCL elbow injury is just something rare about it, where it allows you just not to ever play the way you once did. And like I said, his is on his shooting hand. So if that gets affected even worse, then, I mean, it's a no-go for Paul George. So, I mean, hopefully he can keep that elbow protected, keep it healthy. Don't take too many hits, because see, that's going to be the thing. Watching him in game, how many hits is he going to take on that elbow? Because other players are dirty, and some players just don't care about bumping up against you, being a little physical. That's when we're really going to be able to tell how his elbow is going to do, how it's going to hold up. Because remember, I think he did come back for a few games and then went back out like in December because of the elbow. I think because maybe he re-aggravated it or something like that. So hopefully no re-aggravation, hopefully not too many bumps and bruises on that elbow before the playing tournament, and hopefully he gets a little bit of rhythm, because the Clippers are going to need it, and they're gonna need all the help they can get. So like I said, hopefully Kawhi Leonard comes back too, because I just, this team needs all they're gonna need all the firepower they can have. I mean, Kawhi is definitely the main ingredient, but when I look at Memphis, when I look at the Suns, when I look at the Warriors when they're healthy, man, it's gonna take a lot to beat those teams. It's gonna take a lot in a 7-game series. It is gonna take probably a little bit more than Paul George. I don't know. I mean, we'll have to see if the Clippers can get that far. Hopefully Kawhi Leonard's back way before then, and then everything, I think everything will work out the way it's supposed to. But, like I said, it's a big step towards, getting back healthy for the Clippers. So hopefully everything else pans out. Hopefully Norman Powell comes back. Hopefully Kawhi comes back. Hopefully PG stays healthy. Hopefully everybody stays healthy. And hopefully they make a run for the championship. But hey, that's my take on everything. You leave any comments in the comment section as always. And hey, Cali out.